My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all, it's time for another reckoning. I have this purgatory box to reckon with. It's pretty full, which is wild. Well, it's wild in two ways, which are opposites of each other. It's wild because I just reckoned with literally everything that was in the purgatory box down to total emptiness in the middle of last month. So this is what has accumulated in about 1 month's time. But it's also wild to me that this is everything that's in purgatory. I don't have like a backup purgatory box anymore. And there used to be a backup purgatory box like 5 times this size with things that I was just like waiting to start reckoning with. And I don't have that anymore. This is everything that's come into my life that I didn't choose, that I didn't buy, and that I haven't decided about yet. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to keep it. That means none of this has been inventoried. This doesn't count as stuff that I own. So it hasn't been counted as stuff in or stuff out. It hasn't been counted as stuff. So everything that I decide to keep from here will be tallied on my stuff in list. If I decide to keep anything, it's going to add to my stuff number. So the stakes are feeling pretty high for me right now. I have a lot more tally marks on my stuff out list right now than I do on my stuff in. Here's what it's looking like. So far in 2020, I've only taken in 9 items in all of the categories: makeup, skincare, clothing, not homewares, but accessories, shoes, jewelry, etc., etc. I've only taken in 9 items. And most of them were bras because I replaced pretty much all of my bras. And then there have been a lot of items out. I'm not so much about the exact numbers. I'm really about like the general impression of the thing. So you can tell there's just many more times items have gone out of my collection. I'm not sure if this grammar is working. This is just to say, in theory, there's leeway, because even if I keep a bunch of stuff today, my stuff in number is not going to outstrip my stuff out number. But I don't even really want it to grow by very much. There are some things in this box that I know that I want to keep, but I'm really hoping that there won't be very many of those. I am going to try to part with everything that I can, pass along everything that I can, because I just don't want my stuff in tally marks to grow in number by very many. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. I don't know if I can make it through everything today. I'm going to try, but I'm going to try to not let it go on for too long. And I'm really just going to reach in and like go one by one. I'm not going to try to like be too organized. And I haven't really made any decisions in advance. I'm just going for it. I felt like it was time to reckon. I don't want the purgatory box to overflow. So this year I'm really trying to like stay on top of it. I'm going to start with these 2 items that I just pulled out of my bathroom because I've been using them and I know that I'm going to keep them. They're 2 cleansing products. For me, it's an easy decision because I know that I'll use them up just within the next month or 2, and then they will leave my collection as empties. So even though they'll be marked as stuff in, they're also later going to be marked as stuff out. So to me, it's kind of neutral, and I know that I enjoy using these because they are currently what I am using. So this is the Herborian Black Cleansing Oil. This came to me through Octoly actually, and they also sent a face mask, which I haven't used yet. But I guess this has to count as stuff in too, because I'm definitely going to use it. The black cleansing oil is really interesting. It's like really goopy and thick, and so it feels almost oily and slimy. Not slimy, because slimy, I kind of have an aversion to slimy things. It doesn't feel slimy, but it feels like a very, very, very thick face oil. Much thicker than other cleansing oils I've ever used, rubbing it in. But then as water incorporates into it, it does sort of foam up and it does emulsify and wash off of the skin. It's really like hefty and lovely, and I've really been liking using it. I also feel like because it is so thick, I'm not going to have as bad of the problem with this as I usually have with face oils for cleansing, which is that I go through them very quickly. Even when I use like a good bit of this, I feel like I'm not even making a dent. So this is a really good piece of PR for me to try out, because I'm glad to be able to report back to you about it. It's different from other cleansing oils that I've used. It's not just like, oh yeah, it works. It takes off my makeup, it works. It's like that, plus it's got this really interesting and satisfying tactile experience, and I find it very effective. It's a cool product. I'm really, really glad that I requested it from Octoly. I did that because I felt like I needed a cleansing oil. Like I was like, I didn't have like a balm anymore, so I was just like, let me see if this one will work. So those are 2 things going into my collection. And then this is a Pure Lease Blue Lotus 4-in-1 cleansing milk. This is a weird product. I've used a lot of it because I took it home with me for the holidays. It works as a pretty decent makeup remover, and I was wearing very little makeup when I was in North Carolina over the holidays, so it was definitely sufficing for like to be a 4-in-1, to like actually remove my makeup and also cleanse. I didn't feel like I needed to do a ton of intense double cleansing during that time. So it was cool that I had received this product. I went to the Pure Lease holiday party with Lauren, and that was where I got this. They gave it to me there. The smell, it's just a cream. It's like a creamy consistency that doesn't get too foamy, but it feels very effective, very cleansing. But it's a white cream, and it has this smell that's like, it's like fruity, but also sweet in almost like a vanilla-y way, or like a cakey way. And it just, it puts me off a little bit. There's something about it. It's like it's trying to be tropical, but is missing the mark. It almost smells like I'm at dinner, like at a, like in an alien home. Like I went to space, and I'm like having dinner with some aliens, and they serve something for dessert that looks like flan, or it looks like creme brulee. Like it looks like it's going to be like a yummy earth treat, like something that I recognize. And then I take a bite of it, and it just tastes like alien fruit, and not, and it almost makes me like ugh, a little bit, like it's just not quite right. That's how this smells. And I'm usually not that super sensitive to like weird smells. Like I'm not usually up here like I can't stand the way this smells. And I will use the rest of this up, and it'll be in my empties, and I'll get it out of my collection by way of using it up, which to me is like the best way. That is what I'm going to do. But this is one of those rare products where there's something about the combination of the smell and the consistency that puts me off enough that I wouldn't want to use it again, and I wouldn't want to buy it. Oh, here's another product from the Pure Lease party. So Yensa is an offshoot of Pure Lease, and this was also in the goodie bag from that party. It's the Pumpkin Turmeric 2-in-1 Radiance Polish Mask. I'm already using it. I have the box right here because the bottle is in my bathroom, and I'm already using it. I used up 2 samples of it at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to accept this into my collection and once again finish it up, and then it'll be an empty. That's another item in. Not doing very well so far, y'all. 4 in. These I can pass along. So I got a PR package from Urban Decay with a bunch of their new like setting products in it. And these were 2 of them. There's the regular all-nighter, the long-lasting makeup setting spray. This is just like a regular bottle of good old-fashioned all-nighter. And then this is the Pollution Protection Environmental Defense Makeup Setting Spray. So it's like I think it's like an advanced version of all-nighter. I have a bottle of all-nighter that I use whenever I need to like set my face, like if I'm really worried about it getting messed up, if I'm going for a photo shoot, if I'm going out all night. And I don't use it often enough to feel like I'm even close to running low. I don't feel like I need to keep either of these as a backup. So I'm going to give both of these away. Also in that package was this, the Urban Decay All-Nighter Longwear Mattifying Weightless Waterproof Setting Powder, but it came cracked, unfortunately. And it was weird because they usually do a really good job, and the packaging looked like it was very sturdy. But when I opened it up, it was totally like shattered and smashed. Curiously, it also looks like it would have been kind of dark for me. I probably wouldn't have kept it in any case, but I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to like dump out the powder and then recycle this packaging because I don't think it's really, it wouldn't be worth it for me to repress it, and I don't really think it would be worth it for anyone too because it's quite a mess. So that one's not staying with me. This is very strange and difficult. This is hard. Lauren gave these to me. She got them in PR from Lorac. It's the Rachel Zoe X Lorac little collection. And I got so many tags on this little collection, and I was so attracted to them. At one point, I think 2 of them were in my Ulta shopping cart, and I don't even really shop at Ulta. I was just like on there looking at them, especially because a lot of them, they're little mini eyeshadow palettes if you're not familiar with the collection. A lot of them have like a dark, sparkly black in them. And this is pretty emblematic of the way that they look. They're so sweet, and they're so one's like pink and purple, one's like like a nudie, sort of a warm tone nudie with gold and silver, and then these 2 both have like a green. So this has like mostly warm tones, but it has a pop of green, and then this one really leans into like green, gold, black situation. So for a while I was like, which one should I keep? Which 2 should I keep, or should I keep them all, or blah blah blah. They've been in the purgatory box since before, I think since before the holidays. They've been in there, and I used them a little before I went home, and I used them a lot when I got back because I was trying to decide. They perform fine. It's just that they're so blah, and they're not. Like, they're so cute. They're so lovely, and I'll enjoy giving them away. But it's like these little capsule palettes, even though they've got texture, even though they've got that shine and glimmer and glamour, it's just like, I have my singles, and they're so amazing, and I can curate a little tiny thing like this. It just is like extra stuff. They just feel like extra stuff to me. I actually feel like I'm not doing a good job of explaining why I don't want to keep them, but I'm surprised that I didn't decide to at least keep one, but I'm not. I'm going to give all 4 of them away. It's also just the year of less stuff. I think if I wasn't doing this project, if I didn't have to like mark it down on my list of like one more thing that I'm keeping, maybe I would keep one. But when I realize that it's not worth a mark on the list, it makes me really realize that it's not worth it at all. This is the Yensa Tone Up Essential Glow primer, and I think I already have one of these. Yeah, I already have one of these. It's a great primer. I'm glad that I have the one that I have, but this was inventoried. I don't need to keep a backup of that. So Derma E sent me some products, the Blue Light Shield Concentrated Serum and the Blue Light Shield Spray. I definitely don't need to keep the spray. I already have like too many sprays, like more sprays than I can use. These are with like green algae and they're supposed to be just like environmental protector products. I don't even feel compelled enough to try out this Blue Light Concentrated Serum. I'm not that worried about protecting my skin from blue light. Like it's not my priority. I love the Derma E products that I've gotten the chance to try. I love them. But these 2, especially given like that my backups box is full of skincare. And these just don't seem as exciting as even some of the stuff I've been saving in my backups box from Derma E to try. I think I can go ahead and just like pass them straight through. Here's another product from Urban Decay. I kept the box. I did try this. I took it out and I tried it. It's their new primer. It's the All Nighter Face Primer. It's great. I actually really love it. And one of my holy grail primers of all time ever was from Urban Decay. It was the brightening one in that like pump tube that like where the thing rose up from the bottom, and it just like was very satisfying because you could use every last drop. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous color correcting brightening primer. I love that. I love Urban Decay primers. I think they actually do a really, really good job. So this is a long wear foundation grip primer, preps, smooths, perfects. I've used it several times. It's very, very beautiful. It's just that I am so in love with the VDL Lumilayer primer, and I have so many primers that I need to get through before I feel comfortable buying it again, that since this is pretty much brand new, I just tried it enough times to be able to tell you that I really like it. But I don't like it enough to like keep it and use it up and like put off buying the primer that I truly love for yet another month. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one away too. And I'm glad I kept the box because it makes it a much nicer gift. All right, there's something I've been putting off doing and it's reckoning with these things that Georgia sent me. So my beloved friend, Georgia Harris, sent me a little care package with some amazing products in it. One of which actually 2 of which, well, 3 of which I had been dying to try. But the one that she told me about when she was like, I have some stuff to send you, and I was like, oh my God, you're effing kidding me, because it was on my wish list, is this, the Nabla Cutie palette. So this is my first chance really trying a Nabla palette. I have some Nabla singles, and I love this palette. I love it as much as I thought I would. I do like the dark, sort of slightly satiny black, but I especially love these 2 satiny shades in the middle, Seducer and Glorious. They're really, really shiny, and they've got that sort of slick, wet look. And one of them is like a rose color that I really like on my eyes, and the other one's a sort of like a nudie gold that I really like on my eyes. So I was right. This is a great palette for me. A couple of things that surprised me. It's a little chunky. I didn't know that it was going to be so thick, so that just surprised me. It just wasn't how I had envisioned it. So that's something I had seen it online 100 times, and I never really realized that it was like this thick, chunky thing. And then the mattes, I don't think I get along well with Nabla. I actually don't think I get along well with Nabla shadows in general. I think they feel dry to me. I've been sent from some of you, some friends on the internet, some subscribers, a couple of Nabla, like a handful of Nabla shadows. I think 3 of you at 3 separate times sent me some Nabla singles that you were decluttering. So I've had some in my collection of singles, and I've never had a good experience with one. And when someone sends you something they're decluttering, you never know how old it is. And I know that single shadows, their quality can deteriorate over time. And that doesn't mean that it's not a really good brand and it's not a really good shadow. So I'd kind of been wondering if some of those were just old and that they weren't performing very well. But I have had a similar issue with the mattes in here. They just are a little bit crumbly to the touch, and they work. I've used them a lot. I have used this palette a lot since Georgia sent it to me. I just have felt like the mattes are harder to work with than my ColourPop mattes, my Natasha Denona mattes, many of my mattes. I still will use them because I love the colors of the two mattes in here, and they work really well with the palette all together. But Georgia surprised me by also including this, the Dreamy Mystic palette, the Dreamy 2, and I love the color story of this palette. When it first came out, I was like, maybe I should get that. Like, I love everything about it. I love the aesthetic. It has that same kind of thick packaging, but it really works for it. The colors, everything, it's so me. Like, it doesn't look that different from like a palette that I might make myself, especially when you look at like, if you were to take out the blues, maybe there's so much in common between this and like all those shades that I was looking at when I was trying to build my own palette. It is so me. It's me in a million ways. Even the blues, like even the quality of the blues, this really dark one in the bottom corner, it looks dark brown, but it's actually like a plum. I used this palette a lot too when I was trying to decide to keep it, because for me to keep two palettes right now, that's a lot. That's a lot. With what I'm dealing with what I have, with what I'm trying to do this year, it's a lot for me to keep two palettes. I love many of the slicker shimmers that are in here, but the mattes let me down in the same way, little crumbly, dry. They just feel dry and hard to blend. And then the very textured shimmers, like this one, Libertine, which looks a lot like Natasha Denona Cosmo from the Star palette, it's very dry. It just feels like these like crumbles of glimmer that are just like loose almost in there. There's just not that like creaminess. And then this dark one offline down here in the corner, when I was looking at pictures of this palette, I was like, that seals the deal for me, because it's like a really dark, rich color that you can use to deepen the outer corner and like deepen up looks. But it actually swatches like kind of like a bright, like, can you see that? It's like a light plum. It's like a light sheer, I mean, it's not light, it's not a light color. But it just, when you blend it out, it blends out. It doesn't retain its depth. You can see it right there on my finger. Like it's blending out to sort of like a soft mid-toned color. And that means that there's no deepening shade in this palette. And even I tried to use New Pass, I tried to use Dionysus, and there's just nothing in here that's like dark enough to give dimension to a look. So I loved a couple of the looks I came up with this, but I didn't feel like it was as easy as it could have been if the shadows were in a different formula. I also always felt frustrated. I was like up against a wall trying to get the mattes to work a certain way, up against the wall trying to deepen my outer corner, and because they felt dry, they wouldn't layer very well. This is all, I'm giving like this scathing review of this Nabla palette. I'm sorry. I love Nabla as a brand. I love the aesthetic. I'm very drawn to it. And I really love the Cutie palette. But I'm trying to explain to you why I'm allowing myself to not keep this, even though it's so beautiful and I really wanted it for so long and it was a gift from Georgia. This is how harsh I've become. Even something this beautiful, it just, when I'm like stacking it up against everything I already own, thinking that putting this into my collection means that I want to make room for it by like getting rid of like 5 other things, because that's the life I want. It just doesn't cut the mustard. I think last year I would have kept it. I'm sure I would. I'm sure I would have kept it if it wasn't my year of less stuff. I'm so grateful to have gotten the chance to try it out. I feel like as a small YouTuber, it's nice to be able to like fully review like a good brand new Nabla palette. But I'm not keeping this one. Georgia sent me 3 other things. This one at first I thought I would keep because it's so me and it's so lovely. It is a little Lorac pot shadow in the shade Velvet. Look, now I'm wondering if maybe Lauren gave this to me and Georgia didn't give it to me, because she gave me the Lorac palettes. I think she might have given this to me as well. I'm not totally sure whether it came in Georgia's package or Lauren gave it to me. But, you know, it's like a deep round shimmery pot shadow. And then when I started using it on my eyes, I realized that it's just like a deep brown shimmery eyeshadow. And I have a lot of deep brown shimmery eyeshadows in palettes. They take up less space. They're more compact. Some of them are in formulas that I really love. I don't think I need to keep this. Georgia also sent me these 2 minis of Pat McGrath lipsticks. One is Omi and one is Flesh 3. I love these colors. I've wanted Omi for a long time. Ah! This is why I hate these fucking things. That was why. This is why. They're so dinky. I just had to pick it up off the floor and pop it back in. They're so dinky and it's so little lipstick. I just feel like it's scandalous that these are sold as product as opposed to just being like samples, because they're just samples. It's so, these little bullets rattling around in there. I've had a friend, my friend Wendy sent me 2 red lipsticks from Pat McGrath in these same little sizes. like during my no-buy year, and I was so excited. The formula is extraordinary. I was reminded trying these out again how extraordinary it is. It's like velvet cream and it's so opaque. It's just like one swipe coverage, gorgeous. But I just don't like these little things. I love both the colors. I saw Samantha March wearing Omi in a video one time, and I like checked the description box to see what it was, and then I was like, I want that. And both of these have been, they're right up my alley. They've been on my list for a long, like they're on my Sephora Loves list, these colors. And I use them both on my lips and as blush over the past couple of weeks when I've been testing them out. There's nothing wrong with the colors and there's nothing wrong with the formula to me. At the end of the day, it's just that I don't want to add to my stuff number by 2 for these little things that I don't feel fond of. So I'm not going to keep them. Oh, this is another thing that Georgia sent. This was the other thing that was in the package that I have been longing to try. It's the Knobless Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder. I love the advertising. I love the campaign behind these. I love the packaging. I love the colors, and it's really stunning. It's in the shade Privilege. So this is like a peachy shifting. I feel like when I've used it, yeah, it's peachy and it sort of has a color shift to it. And that's why I didn't fall in love with it. It just felt like slightly iridescent, slightly unearthly, slightly not like very alien, but I think I would probably really like a Nabla highlighter from this range if it were in the color that's like more neutral and more like straight up my skin color. But I don't particularly want it. I don't want someone to give it to me like as a gift. I don't want to go out and buy it. It's not going to be on my birthday wish list at the end of February because I'm not that into powder highlighters right now. And that's an understatement. I really don't feel an affinity for any of my powder highlighters right now. And as much as I really like the kind of skin glazing, promise of this one, and as much as I have been wanting to try it and as excited as I am to be able to try it and to be able to like give feedback on it again because of my platform, it's not worth keeping for me because it's my year of less stuff. So I'm going to give this one away too. Oh, here's something I am keeping. Julia gave this blush to me after she saw my video about things that are theoretically on my makeup wish list, and I think it was right before she had her baby, she just like bought it and had it sent to me. It's Clinique Nude Pop. I have been using it a lot, even though I'm obsessed right now with cream blush, and I've been using a lot of cream blush. This has been the exception. I've been reaching into the purgatory box to fish this out a lot. It's a little bit peachier on me than I expected. I'm just so fair. My face is like, it's like a white piece of paper. So all the undertones of something come out. And as neutral as this looks, when you look at it on the Sephora website, you look at it against all the other blushes and it looks so neutral and so pale that you wonder why it even counts as blush. Like it looks like a powder, like an under eye powder for someone with like a mid-tone skin. But when I put it on my cheeks, it really shows up as like a peach. And it is beautiful. It's not as much of an understatement. It's so crazy, but it's not as much of an understatement as I expected it to be. But I'm really happy to have it. I'm really, really excited that Julia gave it to me as a gift, and I'm happy to add it to my collection. You may remember that I recently decluttered Fig Pop, and I actually gave it to Lauren when she was here recently. So I feel like I've exchanged one Clinique blush for another one, and I left behind the one that wasn't like standing out to me in my collection, and I replaced it with the one in the range that I'm the most likely to get the most use out of. I mean, I didn't replace it. Julia replaced it. But as I move it from the purgatory box into my life, I am doing that. So that's exciting. This is hard to decide about. It's a Rimmel London Scandalized Wow Wings mascara. And someone gave this to me. I think Lauren might have given this to me in a little bag. An unopened mascara is a nice thing to be able to give away because it's something that a lot of people use, even people who don't wear that much makeup. And I have a lot that I want to try. I've been really enjoying trying like random drugstore mascaras that have come my way this year. So I don't know, it's a little bit like I'm giving up the chance to try it. Oh, I'm kind of talking myself into it now. As an influencer, it might be a smarter choice for me to keep this. Let's see what the numbers are at the end. And actually, I think we're at the end. There are a couple of more things in here. There's a serum that I haven't tried yet, but I think I want to try it. There's this Becca under eye corrector. I haven't gotten to give it a try yet, really, so I can't decide on it yet. There's this Olio y Osso balm that I received as a gift, and I haven't had the chance to really decide on it yet. So I'm going to keep those things in the purgatory box, and let's see what we're looking at. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that I'm keeping. And then this is the stuff that I'm not going to keep. 16 things that were in the purgatory box that I'm not bringing into my life. I think that is great. And I really like that I could feel the challenge of the year of less stuff motivating me to not keep things. Because in this situation last year, a lot of times I would forget that I didn't want to be swimming in stuff, because it's hard when you're holding the beautiful eyeshadow palette in your hand. It's hard in that moment to remember like the greater goal, the overarching desire for less stuff. It's hard to let that weigh in strongly enough to overpower the desire to just keep the pretty thing. But I feel like with this project in place, I made good decisions. And a lot of these things that I kept are things that I'm going to totally use up, or things that are like really precious and coveted, things that I've like wanted for a long time that I know I'll get use out of. I think that that's smart. And you know what I'm going to do? I am going to put the mascara back into the purgatory box, because technically the way that the purgatory box works is that I could try it. I was thinking like, should I put it in my backups box or should I give it away? And maybe I will decide to do one of those two things, but for now it can stay in purgatory, and I could decide to open it while it's in purgatory and try it. And then if I decided I didn't like it and I didn't want to keep using it, in my next reckoning, I could decide that I wasn't going to like add it to my collection. So in that way I could like give a review and just like go through the whole process. I kind of forgot just now, because maybe it's because it's like in its whole packaging and it's so brand new. I kind of forgot that that was an option. So that's it. There's like 3 or 4 things left in the purgatory box, and I'm going to mark these on my stuff in list right now. So that's what we're looking at now after this, the first reckoning of the year. Not bad. In theory, looking at the numbers, it like hurts a little bit to see myself add so many things into my life. But in practice, I know that these are smart decisions, especially the ones that I'm going to tear through and then put into my empties. And that is it. This is the first reckoning that has been textured by the event of the year of less stuff. Let me know what you think. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I feel good about it. I really feel good about the way that the year of less stuff has affected the process of reckoning, and I'm really excited that the purgatory box is just down to like these few little things kicking around, because that's how I would like it to remain. I'd like it to get down to this state pretty much every month. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work.